So you probably think you're a pretty smart shopper, right? I mean, you look at the options, you compare prices, you're always trying to find the best value. But what if I told you that a lot of the time, the choice you make, well, it was kind of made for you before you even walked in the door? Yeah. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on this really clever psychological trick. It's called the decoy effect.
All right, so to see how this thing really works, let's just dive right into a classic pricing puzzle. And I guarantee you've seen this a million times, but you probably never realized there's this hidden trick inside, specifically designed to push you in one direction.
Okay, picture this. You're at the movies, you're at the concession stand. You look up at the board. A small popcorn is $4, a medium is $8, and the large is $8.50. Just take a second and look at that. Which one feels like the smart buy? For most people, one of those options just screams best deal, right?
But here's the kicker. What if one of those choices isn't really a choice at all? What if it's just sitting there for one reason and one reason only, to make you buy something else, and you don't even know it's happening?
And this is where we finally meet our decoy. The whole strategy, the entire trick, it all comes down to this one kind of weird-looking price. So let's break down exactly how this one price just completely flips the script.
So the first psychological principle at play here is something called price anchoring. That $8.50 large popcorn, it immediately sets a really high anchor in your brain. All of a sudden, $8.50 becomes the top end, the ceiling for what's reasonable, and every other price you see gets compared back to that number. And once that anchor is set, it perfectly sets you up for the next trick, the compromise effect. See, our brains are just naturally wired to avoid the extremes. We don't want the cheap thing, but we also kind of flinch at the super expensive one. So where do we go? We almost always drift right toward that safe, comfortable choice in the middle.
And this is the big secret, right here. That large popcorn, it's not actually meant to be sold. It's the decoy. The whole point of pricing it just 50 cents more than the medium is to make the medium, which is the real target, look like an absolutely incredible deal. Your brain just goes, wow, and you feel like you're totally winning. So why does this work so darn well? Well, it's because this has almost nothing to do with logic. It's all about hijacking the little mental shortcuts, the heuristics that our brains use all day, every day to make decisions without having to think too hard.
And this whole calculation happens in your head in like a split second. It's crazy. Your eyes hit that $8.50 price, boom, your brain registers expensive. Then you glance at the $8 price, and your brain immediately compares the two. It makes the medium feel like a total steal, completely distracting you from the fact that it's actually doubled the price of the small one.
And that really gets to the core of it all. The human brain doesn't really think in absolute numbers. It thinks in comparisons. I mean, do you have any idea what the correct price for a medium popcorn should be? Of course not. Nobody does. But what your brain is absolutely amazing at is comparing it to the large right next to it and deciding, yep, that one's the better deal.
And look, that is the ultimate lesson here. That decoy product doesn't change the actual value of anything, not one bit. All it does is change how you perceive the value. And when you're trying to sell something, perception is everything.
All right, so we've pulled back the curtain and you see the trick. Now what do you do with this information? Because honestly, whether you're the one buying or the one selling, knowing about the decoy effect gives you a huge advantage. Really, it just boils down to this. If you're the customer, the next time you see three prices, just pause, take a breath, look for the one that's priced really high for just a tiny bit of extra value. That's your decoy. Now, in your head, just ignore it, get rid of it, and then look at the other two and decide what you actually need. And of course, if you're the seller, you just do the exact opposite. You create that perfect premium decoy to make your real target product look like the most obvious no-brainer choice on the menu.
So I'll leave you with this question. You're in on the secret now. You get it. You know how menus and subscription plans and pretty much everything on a store shelf is designed to steer you. The only real question is, now that you know, are you ever going to look at a price tag the same way again?